Hello, my friend, and welcome to the study. Tonight, the wind is blowing, the rain is falling, and it's spring. So, this late night, we're going to have some nice sounds. First thing is an unboxing. Something new for spring. Something to take outside when it gets warm. Next we have a magnetic clip. With this little spring. So it can stick on maybe metal palette, or metal stand to hold your palette while you're painting outside. And these are some portable watercolor brushes. So you put the water in the reservoir there. Maybe with a pipette. And when you squeeze, it comes out through the brush and you can paint. Very nice to take outside when you're traveling. And here we have two watercolor notebooks. Wood pulp 230 GSM. So I'm not sure if this is really watercolor grade paper, but it's good enough for sketches. And writing, so drawing little pictures and taking notes. You can see it's rough made pulpy paper there. And opens up flat. It's not bad. Not bad at all. It'd be a nice little sketchbook to go outside and paint birds and trees. Or write some poetry. Maybe do some Ovid. And we have a portable watercolor paint set. With bright colours, the names of which are written here in Chinese. It says macaron colours. There's 16. Shall we have a look? This makes a nice sound. It's very smooth. And there's a bit of foam as well. And I think there's something else in there. And those are the names of the colours. So I'll have to match them up to do a swatches on. So, looks like this will fit onto something. I think it looks like a water reservoir. Can put water in it. Do you like water sounds? I love water sounds. I think we should have more water sounds in the study. Let me know in the comments if you like water sounds. Let's have a look at the palette. It's a very light blue color, like a sweet. Very cute. And look, I think that is going to match with the reservoir there. And there's the hinge. So opening it up. It's very smooth. Look at that. And there's some pans or mixing. And this one coming out to this side. And look at that. That will fit right there. Look at that. A very compact little travel paint set. And the paints are very bright colours, almost pastel-y. So I thought that was very much like spring. And it looks like there's also another travel brush included. Look at that. And there it is. A little paintbrush. And let's see if we can name the colors. White, maybe lemon yellow, maybe Indian yellow, cadmium yellow, an orange, lots of different kinds of orange. This one I'm not certain about. What does this one look like to you? And we have some reds, probably vermilion, and maybe crimson. And there's a violet and a lavender. And possibly ultramarine blue. This looks like a grey. Could be dark enough to be Payne's grey, maybe. And these beautiful blues, teals. I think I've got some blues here. They might match. Look at all my blues. These aren't professional ones, they're just student blues. Student grade paint for painting squirrels and birds and trees. Oh, I've got 2 indigos. And phthalo blue. Phthalo cyanine blue. Indigo. And cerulean blue, Prussian blue, ultramarine, turquoise, cobalt, phthalo blue again, and another indigo. So lots and lots of blues there. What do you think these look like? They're very pastel-y, aren't they? And then we also have some greens, like maybe viridian, and a sap green, or deep green, or maybe intense phthalo green. So all kinds of interesting, lovely hues. So it's a nice spring palette. I've got something else for spring. Let's get that out. Put our spring outdoor set aside. And this is what I wanted to show you. This is by an artist called Angela Harding. She does a lot of lino prints. Travels around England and Scotland and Ireland, sketching nature. She even has an old sailboat, an old wooden sailboat. that inspires her to travel around England's waterways and even the fens, sketching all of nature and the wildlife that she sees. And here she talks about seasons changing. Look at the contrast of this bright, empty field and all the detail in the leaves. That's what I really like about her work, is it can look deceptively simple, but there's so much in it. When you look, there's so much emotion and unity with nature. This one's called Orford Hares, lino cut into silk screen. She writes, "It is hard to say exactly when one season stops and the other begins. The changes are not necessarily gradual, but come in fits and starts. Seasons have no regard for the official times written down in a calendar. Spring, more than any other of the seasons, is like this. Perhaps it is because in the darkness of winter we long for it to begin before nature is really ready. It cannot be called spring when the rooks start to gather sticks for their high treetop nests, or the first glimmers of aconite and crocus leaves push through the frozen ground. But it feels like a little bit of spring is starting. Early spring is different to the full force, frothy green of spring proper. It is understated. It is bare branches, the blue-green leaves of white glowing snowdrops and hellebores. But spring, at all its stages, has an energy that engages us with the outside world. It's a blackbird. Two blackbirds building a nest, called early nesters. Could be rooks. They don't have orange beaks. Could be crows. Gardener's cottage. And there are the snowdrops. Hellebores and more snowdrops. And a couple there. And then spring tulips and lambs. And what looks possibly like some maybe hyacinth, perhaps. There are some wagtails, and the flowers are starting to come into their own. Sparrows in all their different plumage with the flowers. I don't know if you can see how much work goes into those prints, but you can see in the distance in the background these shadowy plants and flowers. It's very pretty. There's a skinny dog in the back. And here's another blackbird. And more house sparrows. Look at that. I wonder what the houses look like to a sparrow. And the roses here in a blackbird nest. Look at that, the goldfish pond. Everything's waking up in the spring, the blossoms. And what looks like a robin. And here, this one's called The Wonders of Weeding. She writes, this illustration represents the start of my gardening year. I always start the year with the thought that this is the year I will have a weed-free garden. And here's some more daffodils. With some hares, perhaps, and a skinny dog. And the leaves not quite yet on the trees. Well, just waiting for spring to happen. Some nests, blackbird and sparrow, wren, robin. Little eggs in the nest. What kind of a bird do you think this is? This is that late spring, early summer visitor to the United Kingdom, the cuckoo, laying its eggs in the nests of other birds before it makes its long flight back to Africa, sometimes coming back to the UK twice in the same season. And here are two dogs. The author's Yorkshire Whippets. Spring is coming in full bloom now. Hellebore and hound. And this one, look at that. This one's called Spring Hedgerow. These remind me of nettles. Some places nettles grow like this, like ropes all over the woodland floor. And it's easy to trip over them and get tangled up in them. And there looks like a stoat. Some birds here. Look at the birds. Tiny ones, perhaps a goldcrest. A little rabbit. A couple of mice. Blackbirds. Maybe a starling. Woodpecker. And the skylark, the herald of spring itself. Skylarks, along with many of our other native birds, have been under threat from modern farming methods. But we still seem to have a good population in Rutland, where the author lives. It is rather wonderful that on a sunny spring day you can hear the skylark's song from her garden. Look at this. There's a hare, two people going riding, and what looks like a statue by a pond of a beautiful country estate home. I like the blues in this one. You can almost feel the stormy sky and all of the plants and flowers just getting ready to burst forth. So this says it's a place called Newby Hall. A place I visited many times as a child with my family. It's always a strange thing to return to these places of childhood as an adult. They are haunted by memories and have a strange feeling as your perspective has changed so much in the intervening years. And there's a curlew. Beautiful bird. Look at the shape and all of the details and the feathers that she's done. With some little red flowers. It's quite beautiful. Another curlew. And the wind coming from the east and the sailboats in the harbour. And the author talks about how the shape of the bird inspires her. Look at the patterns. She's got the feathers on their chests and wings. And the water in the background. You can just see movement in those lines. And there's one. On a sandbank, a large group of lapwings huddle in between sleeping black-headed gulls. The lapwing occasionally fly up with their distinctive call, pee-wit, pee-wit. There's a nest there. Beautiful little water bird. The cat amongst the tulips. He looks very sleepy. Two owls. Orford nests in Suffolk. I can hear owls right now out in the woods. I think there are a few young ones that have claimed their territory. It's a very nice sound. And now we're getting close to summer. We've got frogs and flax, and look in the center, a dragonfly. And there's someone collecting. The mallard on a rainy day. I like the way she's drawn the face of this duck. It's very beautiful. She's just captured the expression of this duck. He's sitting there in his beautiful plumage, not minding what's going on around him in the rain. And there's another skylark. And another owl. This one over the marshes. A marsh owl. And who could forget the osprey clutching a fish over these turbulent waters. And there's the author, Angela Harding, wandering around the moors and the cliffs. And some more of the books that she's published with all the wildlife of Britain, hares and puffins, deer, otters, and all manner of birds. I don't know what happened to this book, but there's little indents in it. I can imagine they're teeny tiny little fairy footprints in the snow. So there, my friend, something for spring. A promise of outside activities and soft, gentle breezes and the color of flowers, all new, all early flowers coming out as the birds come back, lay their eggs. So we have our gentle little pastel-y palette here. Remember these bright little colors for spring. Look at that. Very spring-like. Pastel-y. Whoopie dear. I hope you you've enjoyed these sounds and looking at some pictures and turning pages in a book. And I wish you a very, very relaxing and peaceful night with lots of soft sounds, beautiful dreams, and the happiest of mornings when you wake. Be good to yourself, my friend. Be kind to others. And be extraordinary.